We all know Alexander the Great, the legend, the conqueror, the guy who wept because there were no more worlds to conquer. But what if I told you his greatest victory was also his homeland's greatest disaster? What if the mountain of gold he stole didn't make Greece rich? It broke Greece. Completely. Irreversibly. I want you to picture this. It's not about battles or glory for a second. Imagine you're a baker in Athens. You've saved up your whole life, maybe 30 silver drachmae to buy a small house. It's your security, your dream. Then, almost overnight, that same house cost 300 drachmae. Not because it got better, not because you got a raise, but because a flood of foreign gold you've never even seen, just washed away the value of everything you own. That's not prosperity, that's a nightmare. And that's exactly what Alexander's loot did to an entire civilization. Welcome to the Historical Audit, where we find the missing pieces behind history's greatest events. Let's talk about the loot, because we need to grasp the sheer, ridiculous, mind-bending scale of it. Alexander didn't just beat the Persians. He walked into their treasuries and found, well, imagine if you cracked open Fort Knox and found 10 more Fort Knoxes inside. The numbers are stupid. At Susa, he found 50,000 talents of silver. A talent is about 26 kilos. Do the math, that's over 1 million kilos of silver, just sitting there. At Persepolis, it was worse. 102,000 talents. This was wealth that had been piling up for 200 years. It wasn't money in a modern sense. It was captured wealth, frozen wealth. Statues, temple offerings, gold bricks, ceremonial cups. The Persians were brilliant at taking treasure out of circulation. Alexander's genius and his fatal mistake was putting it all back in. He melted it down. He turned sacred art into soldier pay. He monetized an empire's soul. And then he started sending it home. Think about that river of gold flowing back to Greece. It's like winning the lottery and trying to spend it all in a small town that only has one grocery store. The town doesn't get richer, the prices just go insane. Seriously, think about this in your own life. Have you ever seen a housing market go crazy because sudden wealth hit a city that couldn't build fast enough? Or watch the price of everything spike after a stimulus check? It's the same ancient principle screaming at us. When have you felt that too much money paradox? Tell me in the comments. So what happens in Greece? Chaos. Pure, simple, economic chaos. We have records. Temple accounts, shipping manifests, they tell the story. The price of wheat basic, daily bread triples. Wages for a carpenter or a stonemason double, but it doesn't matter, because the price of a loaf of bread, a jug of oil, a piece of cloth is racing ahead even faster. Can you feel the human cost here? The elderly couple living on a fixed pension from the city, their money becomes worthless. The widow with savings under her floor tiles watches her security evaporate. The young family can't afford rent. This isn't abstract economics. This is societal trauma. And who wins? The guys closest to the fire hose of cash. The arms dealers, the shipping magnates who supplied the army, the speculators who bought up grain before the prices soared. A whole new class of ruthless war profiteers springs up, flashing Persian gold and upending every social order. The old aristocracy, whose wealth was in land, not coins, is left bewildered and bankrupt. The social contract? Shattered. The city-states themselves go broke. Athens can't afford its navy. Sparta can't pay its soldiers. Their beautiful, proud independence, the thing they fought the Persians to protect, is gutted by the very gold that was supposed to be their reward. The irony is so thick you could choke on it. They won the war and lost their economy. But it gets worse. This is the part that really gets me the hollowing out. Imagine you're the best architect in Greece. You can design a temple that makes men weep. In Athens, you're respected, but you're not rich. Then you get an offer from Ptolemy in Egypt. He'll pay you in pure Persian gold, 10 times your salary, your own workshop, a villa in Alexandria. You'd be a fool to say no, right? So you go. And the best sculptor goes. And the brilliant engineer, the innovative doctor, the veteran army officer, they all go east, to Egypt, to Syria, to the new kingdom springing up in Alexander's wake where the treasure is flowing. Greece isn't just being inflated, it's being drained. Drained of its brightest minds, its strongest backs, its most ambitious souls. What's left? An aging population. A culture living on past glory. A brain drain of epic proportions. Think about your own hometown. Have you seen the life sucked out of it because all the young, talented people left for the big city, for the tech hubs, for the coasts? That feeling of a place losing its future? That's 4th century BC Greece. It became a retirement home and a tourist stop. Oh, that's where democracy was invented. How quaint. Meanwhile, the real energy, the libraries, the science, the big projects, they're all happening in Alexandria, funded by Persian gold. This hurts because it's so recognizable. Where do you see this today? Which industries or regions are being bled dry because talent follows the money? Is it your industry, your hometown? Talk to me in the comments. This is the quiet crisis nobody wants to name. So let's look at the final, bitter picture. Alexander dies young in Babylon, probably from fever, maybe from poison. His generals tear his empire apart, fighting over it. But Greece? Greece is already finished. Not by sword, but by economic shock. The gold was supposed to cement Greek dominance for 1,000 years. Instead, it made Greece weak, dependent, and irrelevant within 2 generations. The city-states that once stood up to Persia are now client states, begging for subsidies from Macedonian warlords. Their freedom is a memory. The cruelest joke? That same Persian gold builds the glorious Hellenistic world, but not in Greece. It builds the Library of Alexandria, the lighthouse, the Great Museum. It funds science and poetry in Egypt, in Turkey, in Iraq. Greece gets inflation, social decay, and a slow slide into being a Roman province. Alexander wanted to spread Greek culture. He succeeded beyond his wildest dreams everywhere, but Greece itself. The homeland was sacrificed on the altar of his ambition, drowned in a golden flood it could not control. The lesson here is brutal and timeless. Wealth isn't just a number, it's a force. And uncontrolled, sudden wealth is a wrecking ball. It doesn't build, it distorts. It doesn't enrich, it corrupts and displaces. Greece didn't fall to an enemy. It collapsed under the weight of its own leader's success. Alexander conquered the world. But in doing so, he bankrupted the very idea of home. And that might be the most tragic audit of all. If this made you see history differently, hit subscribe, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and join the audit.